Is it really possible to build a Jeep on a $5,000 budget? That's including the Jeep and all of the parts, and be able to daily drive it and off-road it? I believe it is. That's why we are entering in the Bleepin' Jeep Beast Wars. Now, to make it even more of a challenge, I plan on building this Jeep and driving it all the way to Tennessee. So that's a little over 8 hours. Okay, let's talk about the Bleepin' Jeep Beast Wars and how we can get into it. So the whole competition is called the Beast Wars, and what you need to do is build a Jeep or an off-road rig for $5,000. That's also included in all the safety equipment. So a roll hoop, fire extinguisher, battery tie downs, and seat belts. I think that was all included in this $5,000 budget along with the vehicle. And the only way to get into the competition, you have to get voted in. So if you guys are definitely interested in seeing me in this competition, please keep an eye out on on Bleepin' Jeep's YouTube and their social media just to see how you guys can vote for this competition. And also, there's a twist into it. If somebody believes that you paid more than $5,000 on your Jeep, they can buy that Jeep for $7,000, and it's only going to be able to get sold one time. So what that's going to do is kind of keep people from overbuilding these things for too much money, which is pretty cool. I'm going to show you the shop that I'm at. So here's one of the vehicles that I'm working on. This one I'm going to do gears and trusses, new axle shafts, and a bunch of other goodies on it. This one was actually bone stock when I got a hold of it, and I've been building it up ever since. Then we also have another build going on right here. It's a 2008 JKU with a 3.8, but it has a RIP supercharger on it. But the supercharger's been on it since 2010, and it still has the original engine and supercharger, so pretty wild. But let's go ahead and talk about the Jeep that I have for this competition. So unfortunately, the budget Jeep isn't at the garage. We're gonna have to go back to my house because the Jeep hasn't been on the road in over 2 years, and it needs a little work to get it running and driving so I can get it over to the shop. But before we talk about the Jeep, the reason why I want to be able to drive this Jeep all the way there is because for the longest time, I didn't have a tow rig or a trailer or anything like that. So all the vehicles that I would roading, I always daily drove them because I had no other option. So now I do have a tow rig and a trailer, but I feel like I need to build it how I used to build my vehicles back in the day. So that's why I want to be able to drive this Jeep all the way there. And how we're going to be able to build this Jeep for that $5,000 budget, we're going to do everything we can. So we're going to go to the junkyard, pull apart, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Craigslist, you name it. We're going to try everything we can to find parts. If they're used, new, or we're going to build them. So on this Jeep here, I've never built bumpers or rock sliders or anything like that. I've built axles and I welded on trusses and did coilover hoops and stuff like that on vehicles, but I've never built anything like a bumper from scratch. So I'm also going to learn a lot of new skills why I'm building this Jeep for that $5,000 budget. And a pretty cool thing is I am going to trade some time for parts or anything like that. So what I mean by that is this Jeep here, if you look at my channel, there's a blue 4-door that I did a bunch of work on, ball joints, U-joints, steering kit, lift kit, stuff like that. I actually traded all that work for this Jeep. So I'm starting on a zero budget right now with the Jeep. So it's going to help me out a little bit on getting this to a $5,000 budget. But I'm also going to try to do that with as much stuff as possible. So we'll see. If there's opportunities to do that for other parts, we're definitely going to do that. So let's take a look at the Jeep now. All right, so here's our budget Jeep. It's a 97 ZJ with the 4-liter. Only has like 127,000 miles on it, so pretty awesome. But like I said, this thing has not been on the road for over 2 years, so I'm not really sure what all it needs. It does run. It has a little issue starting up, and it has a check engine light, which I'm not really sure what that is either. So if you guys are interested in seeing me and the ZJ in the Bleepin' Jeep Beast Wars competition, give us a vote. I definitely greatly appreciate it. I feel like this is going to be a pretty cool competition. And if you guys have any suggestions on this build, definitely leave them in the comments because I'm down to try just about anything on this. But I do still want to leave this Jeep pretty family friendly.